The concept of Power Rangers is something I'm sure almost everyone watching this video is familiar with. Most of us grew up watching our favorite Rangers fighting against the evil forces plotting to take over Earth. They were selfless heroes who protected the world with no ulterior motives. But what if the Rangers were actually selfish people who only cared about wealth, fame and power? Well, that is basically what Ranger Reject or Go-Go Loser Ranger is all about. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I am going to be talking about Ranger Reject. It is very easily one of the best anime airing right now. It's a very unique spin on stuff like Power Rangers and Super Sentai. And in this video, I'm gonna convince you to wake up and stop sleeping on possibly the best new anime of spring 2024. I won't give any direct spoilers and limit myself to only the premise and what you can expect from the show. But even the first episode kind of has a twist, so I won't mind it if you guys ditch the video and start watching the anime ASAP. But I would appreciate it if you guys come back later and leave a like on it. With all that being said though, let's finally talk about Ranger Reject. Around 10 years ago, a floating castle suddenly appeared in the sky. Inhabiting it were monsters who came to take over Earth, and humans' last line of defense were the Dragon Keepers, this world's version of Power Rangers. Fast forward to present time, and the humans have built a whole ass arena where people can spectate the Dragon Keepers fighting against the forces of evil every single week in a Sunday showdown. And if you paid close attention to what I said, you'll realize that all of this sounds very sus, especially the part where the monsters conveniently appear during Sundays and why they only spawn at the arena. And that is because the Dragon Keepers already defeated the bosses who commanded the evil forces just a single year after they appeared, and only the foot soldiers known as fighters are left standing. But sadly for them, the Dragon Keepers have enslaved all the foot soldiers, and they force them to come up with and enact scripted battles every single week. That's right, the Power Rangers have commercialized monster battles into an infinite money glitch. And after more than a decade of acting the part and playing along, one day, Fighter D decides that he's had enough of this life after realizing that they've reached a point where kids cheer for their victory instead of being scared from them. And so, he finally gets the motivation to start fighting back for their freedom. But there's just a single problem. Even though all the fighters are basically immortal, they can't fight for shit, and they have really fragile bodies. And the worst part is the fact that they are not even smart, which honestly makes sense because they're supposed to be foot soldiers who follow their bosses. But all of their bosses got no-diffed by the Rangers more than a decade ago. It's a basically impossible task for a cannon fodder like Fighter D. But he does have one power that might help him out. I'm not gonna spoil you guys what the power is in case you guys don't know, but it's pretty much revealed around the end of episode 1. It's genuinely very intriguing to watch a protagonist that doesn't have any offensive powers at all, especially compared to the Dragon Keepers. And even though he's pretty much immortal, the Dragon Keepers still have a way to permanently kill them, so it's not like he's always guaranteed to be safe as well. The series takes a very unique approach to taking down an organization, especially compared to how other shonen anime and manga go about it. This was not something I expected, especially from the mangaka of Quintessential Quintuplets. And yes, you heard that correctly. This manga was indeed written by Negi Haruba, the mangaka behind Quintessential Quintuplets. It's actually crazy how he can go from writing a cute harem manga to honestly a pretty dark spin on Power Rangers with some really interesting and multifaceted characters. And speaking of characters, that is my favorite thing about this anime so far. For what is basically a deconstruction of Super Sentai, the characters and how they're written is something I really love. From the premise, you would expect that the show is gonna go all in on making the Power Rangers as hateable as possible and try to make you sympathize with the enslaved fighters. But even though they've lost ambition, the fighters still came and want to take over Earth. Our protagonist shares the very same sentiment, even if that may change at some point in the story. And even though the Dragon Keepers are selfish and narcissistic, they are still protecting the world, and as far as we know, it's not like they're cartoonishly evil people that kill humans for fun or something like that. It feels like a cast of completely grey characters, which is something I always appreciate in a story. Something about seeing the Dragon Keepers, who are supposed to be the antagonists, talking about stuff like the power of bonds completely seriously just hits very different. Especially because you know that they're actually being somewhat genuine and they simply hate the monsters and think they're better than them. And the last thing I want to talk about is the production quality. The show is being animated by Yostar Pictures, and this is their very first anime that isn't based on a gacha game. They're responsible for stuff like Arknights and Blue Archive anime. I haven't seen them, but I'm really impressed with the production quality of Ranger Reject so far. The show has some actually good CGI that honestly blends pretty well into the 2D animation, and speaking of 2D animation, that has also been excellent so far. There already have been some really cool sequences and some honestly cinematic looking scenes with some great compositing. And all the characters constantly break the fourth wall by doing stuff like playing with their title cards. I basically have no issues with the production quality so far. And that is pretty much all I have to say about Ranger Reject. It's definitely worth checking out if you haven't already, and according to some manga readers, I heard that the anime is only gonna get better and better, and that just gets me really excited to continue watching it every single week. Leave a like on the video, share it with your friends, and consider subscribing to the channel for more anime content. Also, comment down below if I managed to convince you guys to give this anime a chance, and if you're already watching it, let me know how you guys feel about it so far. With all that being said though, have a nice rest of your day, and hopefully see you guys in my next video.